Welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 165. Enough. And we're here. Welcome to We Are Something Else. It's your boy Kaleo. There's CB. There's E Rich. Fellas. We are back on another Thursday. And guess what? I'm back in a familiar space. Last week was something new, it had been a while since I've been in that space, but I'm back. I'm here. What's good with you guys?
Good, bro. Work's been busy. I think that everyone probably hears me say that shit every Thursday. Um, when the weather gets warmer, that stuff tends to chill out a little bit. So,
Right.
actually felt like spring today. So,
Yeah.
a little bit of a taste, I guess, of what's to come.
Yep. Absolutely. E, what's good with you?
Tony lied. It's still raining in Southern California. So, but with that in mind, they actually did say that they are going on tour.
I hope that's
So,
the truth.
I listen. I don't think Raphael would put that out on some shit, knowing as many people would definitely enjoy that. I mean, granted, we all know that you know the the whole entire original group isn't around. You know what I'm saying? But it still would be a good look. But other than that, work's been crazy. um, yeah, man. Like I said, it's the amp shows are a good kind of breakup.
Hey,
And
yes. Shout out
outside
to
of
Ed.
that, outside of that, it's good to be here on Thursday to get some good convo with the fellas.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been crazy. Last week I was shout out to Sean Xavier for coming through in a pinch, kind of sort of. I was in a tattoo chair last week, getting my arm recolored, getting it finished, or part one finished. But look, it felt good. Getting back into that mode, and maybe getting the sleeve extended. Yo, Chuck Claggett is here. What's good, Chuck Claggett? Thank you for joining us. Um, but yeah, look, fellas. I mean, I am glad to be here. Back, we got a lot going on. Like I said, the amp shows are ramping up, kicking off. E held it down. Well, let's go back. Sunday, I did a pop up set, which was decent. Probably my longest I've did. I probably won't go that long ever again. But then Tuesday we had E. Tomlinson, our money bags, if you know him, who's also one of the Soul Tales crew members. Shout out to E. Shout out to Vets. He held it down Tuesday nights about what 9 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
about 9 o'clock or so.
Yep.
It's pretty dope. Then Wednesday afternoon, about 5 p.m., we got Sean Xavier from the Hot Seat Podcast from Sinai Circle Creatives. He does Over the Hump. And then Wednesday evening, we got our man, Mr. E. Rich himself. It's not me, it's the music. Kicking off about 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 6:30 West Coast time. And last night was fun. Almost got canceled last night. If you were in the chat last night, first of all, shout out to Be Easy for joining the chat finally. If you're around Be Easy, we watching. Shout out to you for being determined and getting in there, man. Because you were watching from a distance. I felt bad, man. It's like being on the other side of that glass in jail when we come to visit you. But look, welcome. But yeah, no, he held it down last night. Played some good stuff. A lot of stuff that we may not have known, but he may have tried to turn you on to. And then look, we're here tonight on Thursdays. There's a lot every day of the week. There's something. And tonight we're here, and then tomorrow will be check me out at noon with the abstract, and then
It's lunch over here on the East Coast.
it's lunch
It's
over here.
breakfast over there
Over
on the
there,
West Coast.
exactly. It's brunch. It's brunch right now. But yeah, then the good guys from We Are Something Else podcast, CB and E Rich, gonna have special announcement of when they're gonna launch their new endeavors. We
Yep.
can't wait for that.
Gonna make people wait a little bit.
Uh, Daniel, what's good, man?
What's good, Dan?
Appreciate it. And then we are also kind of tonight in like the kitchen. You know, we're rocking some. I don't know if CB got his. There we go. Yeah, he's gonna have his next week. We'll make sure he has his.
He's like,
You
oh, the
know,
old
let's
logo.
just go back.
Dang.
Wrong with the vintage. Nothing wrong with the vintage because we posted some vintage photos today of the founding like photo shoot of the pod. Me and CB dangling from the ledge.
That one parking garage or whatever we were hanging
Yeah,
off of.
that's an epic. We were probably the only two guys in history to make a parking garage look that epic.
Shout out to the comments.
Shout out to the comments. Ren, welcome. Appreciate it.
Oh my god.
Look, whatever. Who cares? Whatever happens. But look, hey, we are here. We got a lot of ground to cover tonight. So with all that said, fellas, let's wrap. I'm gonna call this one. I wasn't call it Two Hillbillies at IHOP, but I think it's gonna say the Jailbird Special at IHOP. Please, we'll call it that one. So, and this is local news, believe it or not.
Yeah.
This is in me and CB's backyard. So, two prisoners from Newport News, Virginia. Actually, that's Sean Xavier.
That's Sean Xavier's front yard.
Shout out to Sean Xavier. Shout out to Sean Xavier. And this is your local news network right here, buddy. Two prisoners from Newport News. John Garza, who's 37, and Arlie Nemo, who's 43, went missing during a routine night check-in.
With just the names and the ages, if you told me to guess which one of those dudes was who, I couldn't do it.
Yeah, no, I'm lost. and I'm not putting no money down on it. Around 7 p.m. on Monday, they went missing. They didn't make count. And for all you prison movie fans, that's when all the inmates stand out front of their door of their cell, and then the guard walks down and counts everybody to make sure that everybody's there or where they're supposed to be. But these two weren't there. Apparently they used, first of all, you got to award these guys for their creativity. Like, I guess when you're in jail, you got nothing but time on your hands to get creative. They used a toothbrush and a metal object. They don't know. No one's going into detail what the metal object is. To dig themselves out of the jail. And then they were approached with like a wall that they scaled the wall afterwards. And they next morning, Tuesday morning, they were found at IHOP in Northampton.
Now, 10 miles away, they said.
Yeah. So the question is, were they eating or were they just sitting there? I'm sure they probably didn't have money for the pancakes. They probably went there for the meal and just waited around till the check to come through. And then at that point, like, you know what? Just send us back to jail. They just wanted the free pancakes on a Tuesday. But let's get you guys thought about this. This is kind of a funny story. But first of all, let me tell you, if you want to know the charges these guys have, why they're in prison in the first place, one of them, they're light charges. You're talking about like a couple years, and there's like some fraud tax stuff, on one of these guys' things.
Grand larceny or whatever.
Yeah. But when you escape prison, I believe that's like an extra 5 to 10, like added on.
There's some new charges.
There's some new charges here, all over some IHOP pancakes. Are you risking it all for IHOP pancakes? Let's start with E.
When you were identifying how they were doing roll call, the first thing I thought about was Life. New York City 1, New York City 2. Listen, man. Prison breaks are just an anomaly of our prison system, right? It's so old school that they still find a way to get out of a jail cell. Now, I will say this, because
Shout
they are
out to Ren for verifying the dopeness of IHOP's pancakes in Manhattan.
Well, I don't know who Ren is, and I apologize up front, but Ren, you must have missed my "Is it just E?" because this is what I was going to say. Apparently, they don't get TVs in the jail that they were at, because I have done a "Is it just E?" that Denny's is actually better than IHOP. IHOP is just merely just some bullshit because it's got a catchy name. So therefore, that's why they got caught at IHOP. Had they been at Denny's, Denny's would have been like, yeah, I got it. There's some change in the back, act like y'all work here, and you know what I'm saying? It'll be just fine. You know what I mean? Here we are.
Excuse E for the moment. Go ahead, E.
But that's it, man. I mean, listen, nothing better than Escape from Alcatraz. There's a book about it, so I'm sure they read it, figured out that they had to find a way to what is it, to get rid of the sand. I forgot what was it, Naked Gun in a half or whatever, when they kept trying to
putting the sand
putting the dirt
field.
on the baseball field. So there's like some comedic part to this, but why out of all the places IHOP though? Come on, is that what you have to offer?
That's probably as far as they can get.
I mean, they say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, right? So they're trying to get their new life started off on the right foot, and they didn't talk about the waiting to skip out on the check. I don't even think they had time to get the check because they got picked up like right there. I'm pretty sure, right?
Can you imagine if they did all that for the pancakes, and right before they're about to get a fork full of a short stack, they get taken away, and like they don't even get. So now they get 10 extra years and no pancakes.
Now, instead of their waitress bringing out the pancakes, it's two officers bringing out some cuffs. I joke all the time. I've risked it all for things that are not IHOP. And I don't know if I would necessarily think IHOP specifically as soon as I escape jail, but you better believe a meal would be on my mind. So, I can't blame them.
That's funny. It's the slow burn right there. That was the slow burn. All right, but look, I think we're done with this one. This was interesting. That again, risk it all for pancakes. All right, so this next one I'm gonna call "We Refuse." All right, so we refuse. This one's gonna be a little deeper. So, Mid Vermont Christian School. All right, Mid Vermont Christian School. That's the MVCS, Mid Vermont Christian School. The girls' basketball team was playing in a tournament, but they chose to forfeit the tournament when they realized they were going to play against a team that had a transgender female on the squad. The head of the school, Vicky Fogg, said, "We believe playing against an opponent with a biological male jeopardizes the fairness of the game and safety of our players." So, obviously, this is like I said, Christian school. Obviously, some of the Christian beliefs are very well. Let's get the resident PK on here to kind of dive into this one.
You better take me off unless you want to get canceled like yesterday. Me laying into this one is definitely gonna get us canceled. So I want CB, you're up first on this.
Let's get CB will give the PC answer first. Go ahead.
Ooh, man. I think that it says something that the school district or whatever, like they acted so quickly. And because they basically the school decided they weren't going to play against them, right? And I think that and because of that there were repercussions. Kaleo, I don't know if you're like burying the lead and you're leading into that, but
go ahead.
The school district came out and like banned them from further competition because they refused to play in that tournament. And so it's one of those things where, like, when we're talking about the church and growing up as I wasn't a PK, but growing up in the church, there's a lot of things that you see and there's a lot of stuff that you hear. And one of the things that I was brought up to believe is that, J-Dog, Jesus, my man, he accepted people from all walks of life, and his whole thing was, love and all that, right? So I know that there are specific scriptures that talk about these types of things. This stuff was written thousands of years ago, been translated I don't know how many times, you know what I mean? So people can really use these things. It's like statistics for sports. People can twist them and use them however they want, right, to fit their agenda. So I think at the end of the day, we preach inclusion. We express that in the fairness of the game, we want people to be included. Um, maybe the girls showed up to the tournament and thought they were just going to get rocked, so they're like, okay, let's come up with a good enough excuse. This one's good enough, and we're out of here. Because I don't how are you going to actually be in a tournament and then just give up, like, honestly?
Okay, I get that. I get that. So there's a couple things you hit on that makes sense, right? Times are different, and so there's one thing that acceptance, right? Acceptance is kind of where we want everybody to be these days. Right? We want everybody to be accepted for their differences. That's either race, gender, uh, difference of opinion. They want us to be accepted, right? So I can accept you for your decisions, right? But again, if we're talking about me accepting you gives you an advantage over me, that's a little different. I can accept you, but I can't accept the advantage the advantage point you're gonna have over me because of the acceptance, right? So we had this topic about the swimming, right?
Hmm.
There was a guy, he was born a male, and he transgendered to a woman, but as a male, he was horrible in swimming. He sucked. He was horrible. Couldn't place. And then transgender, he started swimming as a woman, and he was like kicking ass. It was like first place in everything. Now, again, acceptance, but the disadvantage that you're gonna shell out there. Now, let's start again. I think we even brought this topic up when we were talking about that. If we start going into combat sports, again, what is there? Do you have a sizable muscular physical advantage over me, and now you're competing against me? So that's kind of where I'm at. Go ahead, E, before I keep going. Before we
No,
get into the letters like I did last night.
oh my god, that
And
part.
I see Anissa in the chat, so I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
she would
Oh,
know that
Anissa's
reference.
in the house. Let me
all
go.
right. Yeah, go take care of the chat while
There
we
you
do
go.
this.
Oh, Anissa, welcome.
Listen. I think that's, but you know, if you have to separate the two, right? And what we're trying to say is competition is supposed to be fair, right? And if we're already identifying an unfair or an advantage for some other team, then what happens is it breaks what sports really is about, and it's a true competition. So then you have the, old school when we was coming up. I need to see his birth certificate because there's no way that kid is 13 and he's got a full grown mustache, posting up and dunking on, kids that are like at his kneecaps, right? That's an unfair event. And then what happens is then you begin to separate, right, what that actually means in that sport. So that's why there's a big, problem with the AAU scene, right? Because of that, it was the age limit, and all the talent gets to put on one squad that goes against a Utah team that's probably all of 5'10", might look like CB with no calf muscles, and yet they're going up against, the designated, team from St. Louis, who's like 6'3", has, three kids already, and is only a junior in high school type situation. So I think at the end of the day, what it's about is a true competition. And it's unfair. And I don't think that they should be punished for standing on the fact that they want a actual straight up competition. An equal competition is what we all ask for. Equal playing fields so that we can compete and see who's better than the next on just that day. That's it.
Here's the equivalent. Here's my question, and I want to know if this is the equivalent to that. Now, is this the equivalent to steroids in sports? In the Olympics, right? When we go to the Olympics, you have the best athletes of the best, and they test hard for that. But then, like, a lot of countries get banned because they know they're not as good as other countries, So they dope up. Is this the equivalent to doping up?
Nah, in some cases it could be, but this is the way that I'm gonna pose it. So when we were talking about the swimmer, we're literally the reason why that was a big story is because this dude, call him a dude, he went from not placing to being one of the best. I haven't read an article or seen anything where people were saying that this trans player on the other team was the best player in the tournament. Like, I just as someone who's played pickup, I played with women who have played collegiately, who very good, played semi-pro, whatever. They're better than a lot of the dudes that I would ball with. You know what I mean? So when we're talking certain sports, like there is a physical advantage. There's a difference if you're putting Shaq, prime Shaq in the WNBA. We know there's a difference there. I can't sit here and say without more facts that this tournament that there was some unfair advantage just because they had a trans player on their team, because that person could have been the worst player on the team. It's just the fact that, this
true.
was their situation. So, I mean, it's one of those things where if we had the answer, we probably wouldn't discuss it as often as we do. You know what I mean? But,
Right. So,
I think that there's more nuance to it.
So what do you do? Because there are a lot of transgender people that are athletes and they still want to compete, but now that they identify as something different, where do they compete? What do you do?
I think you have to. So, fuck it, I'll say it. It's not.
Hold on.
Sorry. Our logo's on here. That's all three of us. No, literally what I think is going to happen is this. It's going to take until something really bad happens in order for it to then kind of looked at in a sense of why did we get to this part, or why did it have to take this long, right? So let's say, as CB said, like a combat sport, right? You're not going to let somebody in the MMA go up against, especially if they don't make the weight, because weight is a situation.
Yep.
That thing in itself would be detrimental. Hence the reason why there's certain, like you said, combat sports or things of that nature that just, it won't happen. But and not to say that we're going to stay on this, this subject all night, but let's dive into this, right? So what that person was not a dominant player for them, period. What I'm saying is, now, by automatically accepting that, are you then opening the door to allow that to happen in any other sport, which now everything is a sport nowadays, right? And you're having to take that with whatever comes with it. Because now we're talking about using same restrooms. You're also talking about, are you having a chaperone that's going to have to deal with the backlash of that one player against them all, right? So what I'm saying is, I think it opens up a lot. And when you talk about it at the kid level, that's a whole nother subject than talking about an actual adult who can handle, or who has to handle it in their own right, instead of parents, chaperones, or a school system who's just backing them because they don't want to get the backlash.
Interesting. Like I said, this one, I mean, this is not the first, this probably won't be the last time that we have to cover a subject of this magnitude. I think we did good. We kind of got in and got right back out, no luggage left behind.
Nope.
Let's get some of these comments. Oh, Mr. Sean Xavier, look, man, we plugged you already. Now you just got to sit here and listen to us. We already plugged you.
What?
No, but look,
what?
we appreciate you, Sean. Now look, shout out to Sean. Sean is Sean's got something great going on up there at the Sanaa Circle Creative. I'm glad we were privy for him to share, the pictures and stuff of what's happening up there. But is it exactly back tomorrow, Sean? Because I can plug that as well. Don't agree. We agree too, Anissa. Yo, this is like kind of the chat going on in AMP radio programs. Shout out to AMP.
This is different because you're not in the chat.
I'm moderating tonight. I'm not maneuvering through the chat. All right, so this next one I want to title All right, I'm out. That's what we're gonna call this one. And I want to set this next one up with the video to kind of give you some context what I'm talking about.
People are laughing. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I don't even care if I don't get paid today. I'm just a stupid old white lady. That's all.
Oh, ain't no way y'all can start this.
Yeah, do whatever you want to do. I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway.
Hey, whoa.
I'm walking. I'm walking right out the door. I won't ever be back.
So, this is a video that went viral on TikTok of, I don't know, it still hasn't been released, the lady's name, the state it was at, or the school it was at. But in this video, you clearly see someone who's clearly a teacher responding to something that we don't know what was said, but she's responding to something. First thing she says, I don't know, I'm just a dumb old white lady, as she's packing up her shit. I mean, you can tell she's tired of this shit. So she's packing up and she's grabbing everything and she's out. She says, I'm never coming back. Now, there's a couple things to dive into in this one, but let's just talk about the school system in general, right? Teachers, one, we know, are very undervalued, underpaid, and have one of the toughest jobs in the world because all personalities are not the same. And sometimes you get a room full of the same personality. That's not always a good thing. And clearly, just a quick gander around the room, looks like she was like the white lady on Dangerous Minds. She was trying to be the savior. Now, for her to walk out of this classroom, I mean, that tells you a lot. Like, education system is jacked up, and these kids have no respect for anyone. You don't have a teacher now, supposedly. What's next? So let's dive into the video. How do you guys feel about that? Thoughts? E.
All right, I'll set it off. This is not uncommon. This happens a lot more than we think. We all have been in schools where you have kids that really just don't care about themselves, in the sense where they will do everything to be demonstrative and destructive in a classroom. You may have a classroom of, let's just say, 20 people, and it might be 5 that are actually really trying to learn something, where the other 15 really, some are just there, the others are just doing whatever they want to do, right? The problem is like I said, this doesn't get there's more black teachers that have walked out on their classrooms than just this one white lady walking out on the classroom. I'm just gonna be honest. I was a part of one where a substitute teacher walked out on us because of the disrespect of a one kid that just really just did not care to be in school. And guess what? It was, well, if I'm not in school, I'm gonna go to jail, or they'll pick me up on truancy. So I'm here, you're gonna have to deal with me. That was his attitude. So yeah, we understand we understand they don't pay teachers, but this is and not to say it's us, because I don't know about the other side. I don't know about Chad, and I don't know about little Stevie, but I know about us, and I've been in our classrooms, and we really don't give a shit. There's a lot of us that really do not give a shit about school. They don't, because we don't have it instilled in us. So this is a bad look on us, not necessarily the teacher. I applaud her for leaving. Why should you take that shit? For what? For students who don't care? You can only care so much. We cry about they don't get enough education, or they don't have this, and then when you actually get an actual teacher that really cares, it only takes so much for the kids that really want to listen. Then yeah, you could say teach them. If you don't want to do whatever, go in the back of the room. Just don't disrupt these kids that are in front. That's a true teacher, and I'm not saying that she's not, but clearly she just said I had enough. And there was nobody in there that was trying to make her stay.
Nobody was
so
backing,
you can tell.
Yeah, nobody was
so
backing.
You can tell that whole classroom was set for her to be in there to fail.
Yeah. There was also another looks like some kind of authority figure in there. It was a guy with a a lanyard on, whatever. He wasn't
It's
stopping
the
her
guy
either.
from next door.
Yeah, he wasn't stopping her either.
Yeah. Nah, as the family member of a teacher and someone who works in the local school system, in certifications, the like you said, this is not as uncommon as some people might think that it is. Like in where the school district that I grew up and went to school, they might pay their teachers the best in the country. Like they got to be in the top percentile. I know that that was the case 10, 15 years ago. So I'd be very surprised if it's still not the case now, just given where me and Kaleo live, and all that kind of stuff. But still to this day, it's different. Like even from when we were in school, you know what I mean? I feel like there is a difference. Um, think about the movies that used to come out when we were kids. A student and a teacher, they tussle, and then it ends up being like some, story of someone reaching the pinnacle of some greatness or whatever. You know what I mean? Not now. Not now. Teachers and students butt heads, and it's
In it, yeah.
I do feel that a lot of teachers aren't respected enough, but hey, we can't make kids want to learn. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you know what? So I remember being in school. Again, obviously different times. You always had one or two apples or whatever, but then other than that, most people just wanted, just get through the day, right? And most teachers were more I think we could relate to a lot of our teachers. I could for sure. And so it made it enjoyable, right? Going to certain people's class, especially if you had like a young teacher and you felt like it was a guy and he could like relate to you, be out there playing basketball with you. And that kind of made, learning fun. But now like think
Right.
about it. So you disrespect the teachers that walk out, right? But let's talk about the layers of what's happening in school now, especially like older schools. These kids are like ODing in school.
It's
And if
crazy,
you lose
bro.
the respect, these teachers are the ones with the Narcan. So if you lose respect to even like these teachers are in position or have been put in position to save lives.
And I feel like a lot of parents, and this isn't necessarily going for like, I'm not talking about like high school and things like that, but there's a lot of people that view the school system almost as like it's just like daycare. You know what I mean? So um, it's just another way to get some people's own kids like out of their own hair. You know what I mean? And if that's starting from a young age, you're not. I'm not saying that this is like a large group of people, but if you're one of those parents that are literally just like, hey, I need my kid out of my hair, he needs to go to school, but it's not, you're not instilling that he's going to school or she's going to school to learn and, better themselves. It's just to get them out of your hair. They're just going to be going through the motions too.
It goes back to that whole thing, and not to kind of keep putting the squash on this, but that level of disrespect is also being shown at home, right? They don't care. So when I get to school, why should I give a damn if my parents don't give a damn? They just say, I don't care what you do as long as you in school. You know what I
Right.
mean? You have until 18 to figure it out. So it is that cycle that has to be broken, in the sense that one, that kid has to want to actually learn something, right? He or she has to want to be in school. Yes, there's that side of the teacher has to be creative or has to do something that catches that student's attention, but it has to be on both sides.
Right.
It can't just be the teacher doing everything and the student doing anything, right? We've all loafed off in some type of school or whatever, like some type of class. But then, like Cleo said, there's that one teacher that brings you back in. It's like, because I was able to relate to him in some form or fashion, it helped me learn better. So again, it's one of those things where listen, and this is definitely gonna date me, but this is fine. When the teacher was able to just go to that door that was on the side of the room to call your parent to be like, do you want to talk to them and tell them about what you're doing is different, because they knew that if our parents got a phone call while they was at work, it was hell to pay. I know you ain't got this school calling me while I'm at work, so you already know what's going to happen going forward, right? Like, you knew what that was. Everybody be like, ooh, you ain't gonna do nothing, until she opened that door and she was like, go ahead and put your number in. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, these kids now, they don't even care. Call them. Ain't nobody there anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care. So again, that whole process of the parents have to show the interest in that kid's education in order for them to really go into that school and not be disrespectful. Because for them to see that, if it was reversed and told the parents to sit down and let the teacher disrespect them, I'm gonna disrespect you like your kid disrespects me. I guarantee you there'd be a lot of rude awakenings happening, because these parents are also naive and don't think that it's their kid. Not my son, not my daughter, not mine.
Not Chad.
Exactly. Parents are completely different. Like, grandmothers are like 30 nowadays, right? So let me tell you what else. So while we're sticking to the school system, certain places, and this has been rolling out, because what else is happening in school systems, right? Shootings, mass shootings. You know, kids, parents have to send their kids to school thinking about this stuff. Kids have to go, instead of just regular fire drills or your fake bomb drills. Now they have to have like mass shooter drills. It's just crazy. So
I mean, we didn't even talk about it, but that video of that teacher that had the bulletproof.
hold on.
It's that easy. From my point of view, whenever I first came in here and I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness.
So, as CB was saying, what you just saw there is a form of bulletproof shelter being put into classrooms because of mass shooters, like stuff that's happening in school nowadays. It's sad that we've come to this point, but you know what? I'm for it. I'm for anything that's going to protect my kid, your kid, cousins, whatever, anybody's kid. And if this is already in place and we know it works, I'm for it. It's a 20-second video. I'm going to show it again. It didn't look like it took much. And hopefully, they'll figure it out how to make it move a little faster. But just check it.
It's that easy. From my point of view, whenever I first came in here and I saw this, I was like, oh my goodness.
Now, the lady that walked out on them kids in the other video, I don't know if she'd be able to handle that. It looks like it takes some muscle, but
but you know what? That shit's way more investable. And I can invest in that than that damn bulletproof backpack that they tried to sell the kids, which only just was stupid as hell. But
I don't know what that's gonna do.
All I'm saying, Kaleo, is that someone needs to do something. So if it's putting, this kind of stuff in the schools because, the lawmakers aren't going to do anything, like, it's something.
Yeah. No, look, to me, that's a great idea. Roll it out. If it's a form of comfort or protection outside of the teacher carrying a gun.
Right. Because that was that other solution.
Do it. Yeah. Just do it. E, you got any thoughts?
Nah, man. I just listen. It's one of those things, man. Like, we have to. A lot of it is about us keeping ourselves accountable, and like I said, I'm always gonna be the one to say it. Can't shout all of our good purposes and our success if we don't also look at the bad stuff that we have to deal with, and we have to get better in school. I mean, yes, systemically, America sucks in school. We're behind in every damn category. So that's a hurdle in itself. And then, like you said, underpaid teachers. Shit, I just think LA County just started their strike because they're not getting paid enough. that's the second. I think it's the second largest county school district in America. Why is that happening? Because there's no love for it anymore. That shit is gone.
Right. But you know what I got love for? You know what we all have love for?
Segway.
You know what's not failing America, and that's the DC Shy Pie.
Grant Thompson, he's never failed America.
No, Grant Thompson's never failed America, or the We Are Something Else podcast, the DC Shy Pie, the official pizza of the We Are Something Else podcast. Look, weekend's coming up. There's some March Madness happening. Look, your pools are done. So why not watch the game and enjoy it with pizza? Because throw that damn bracket away. Because there's no way in the world you got any of those teams left in your bracket. But what you can have left over is some DC Shy Pie. Heats up well too. WRSC10 is our promo code. Save 10%. Why not? And I know. So look, Anissa, I know you won't be able to have the Shy Pie until he's working on getting it shipped. But look, this is what you're missing out on. Chicago deep dish pizza. You got like the steak and cheese. You got salmon pesto. You got sausage and pepperoni. And if you're not into Chicago deep dish, they got flats. And they have dessert.
Drop the bomb.
Drop the bomb. So, DC Shy Pie. Now, Anissa, I feel like I have to segue this the right way. Because since we're into dropping things, if he doesn't come correct with this is E's last night on the show. That's all.
And the way
real quick, before we dive into this, I definitely want to give a shout out to the folks on YouTube for, I don't know if you saw the second to last graphic, but E's video on Vanity and Apollonia has had a resurgence, and this thing is up to like 15,000 views, and it's still steady growing. So shout out to people who go internet digging and diving in YouTube and they find great videos. So, alrighty, what you got?
I appreciate that. Because I feel like we have a couple of new listeners in the chat. I have to preface this segment as the Is It Just E segment is what I consider my unpopular opinion. I say the shit that people want to say or just don't want to say. I've had a couple of friends falling out from, a couple of them, as in, Taco Bell is better than Chipotle. To name just to name a couple, if I will.
One of them created a T-shirt. You know what I mean?
Yes. Oh, yes.
When you have a segment that a whole T-shirt gets made from it, Yeah.
Yes, and with that one, that is that lemon pepper wings are trash. I stand by that to this day. Coming soon, another launch of that T-shirt. Shout out to everybody who's got one. It's probably time to get a new one. But anyway, with that being said, Is It Just E? Listen, a lot of this, the inspiration has to come from somewhere, and 9 times out of 10, it's something that just randomly kind of, just kind of absorbs into something. And as Cleo stated before, all of us are on AMP and we're doing more music. We're into a space where that's just our thing. Like we're so heavily music. We're so heavily sneakerheads, just the culture in itself. Well, you can't talk about the culture unless you really want to dive into some shit that's really just where people you have to have the conversation. We have is Lebanon James better than Mike? We have is Gretzky the best, or is Crosby better than Gretzky now? Is Mark McGuire, is Mark McGuire better than Barry Bonds? Which, I still say Ken Griffey Jr. has the best swing that has ever been invented by guys right the earth.
Yep.
However, in this segment of Is It Just E, I have to go ahead and get down to the nitty gritty of it. Is It Just E this is a poll. Who had the better album between Prince 1979 and Mike Jackson Off the Wall 1979?
So Prince
That
is
is
for you,
right.
1979. Mike Jackson's Off the Wall, 1979.
That is right. I am making you have to decide. Now, I already know where I'm going with this. Cleo and I had a little sidebar, but I didn't give up who I was going to say.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, in the chat, Anissa and all the rest of y'all, go ahead and put down who you think had the better album. Now, here's the situation. Mike already had a couple of albums that dropped because he was younger. He was dropping the Kid album with the fro, with the, with the head. Then you got, Prince, who had stuff that was popping, but it wasn't a full album. Now, I chose this to be fair because they both came out in 1979. So now, Off the Wall, everybody knows the number of hits that are on there. Prince, for you, more of a disco, but his genius was all over that album by himself.
At 17.
So, yeah, at 17. Now, again, Mike was killing it when he was young, Jackson 5 and all that, and then Tito didn't make it, and he, did his thing. So, Is It Just E? Who you got? I'll let you guys go ahead and discuss.
Let's leave a CB. CB's answer is going to be more interesting than... I'm guaranteeing you CB's is going to be quick.
Well, it's also because I'm just gonna guess that
Mike,
my
sorry, Kaleo.
I'm
both.
I'm with moms though. Like
Off the
that's
Wall.
why. Like it's because
MJ.
at least for me it's Mike. It's not like it's some landslide victory or anything like that, but at least in my household growing up, it was more Mike Jackson than Prince. Like that just was what it was. So it's no hatred. Obviously, I love them both as artists, but in this particular situation where E is making me choose, and it would be a cop out to just split down the middle, I'm gonna assume I'm picking the opposite of what Kaleo's gonna pick, and I'm picking Mike.
Okay.
So it's a well-known fact that Filipino households and Hawaiian households are close, but they're different. Hawaiian households are Prince. Filipino households are MJ. I'm just gonna let you know that. That was a well-known fact that nobody saw coming because it's the truth.
Yo.
So I'm assuming this was done for my answer. And so look, I'm gonna tell you, I thought about it, and it's like one of those Skip and Shannon things where there's a lot of interesting facts that I could bring up, but I should just bring up the only ones that would prove my point. Now, and I'm gonna tip my hat to both because both are great artists. Both aren't great musicians. Let's get that shit straight. But they're both great artists because the musician behind Off the Wall was Quincy Jones.
Yeah.
Now, okay. So now everyone knows it is a real debate between Michael Jackson's Off the Wall and Thriller album for which one is the better album. So he picked one of probably the top two Michael Jackson albums he could have chose. There's an ongoing debate for which one is better, Thriller or Off the Wall. Some people prefer Off the Wall. Some people prefer Thriller. Okay. So now with that said, to me, For You is a disco album. And I'm not, there's some disco I can get with, but For You was not one of my favorite Prince albums. Now, does that mean that it's not better than Off the Wall? I'm going to put it to the point where that I probably listen to Off the Wall more than I listen to For You. And that's the truth. You want real? I'm going to be real. I've listened to Off the Wall more than I listened to For You. For You had some good stuff, but I probably listened to Off the Wall more. For You just wasn't my cup of tea. But if you name any album after For You, I'm going down with the sinking ship. I'm riding that shit till the wheel falls off. So he has an okay point. Yeah, Off the Wall is probably better than For You. That's fine. But I tell you what, at 17 years old, producing, writing, recording your own album by yourself.
Hold on.
That's a pretty damn feat. That's pretty hard to do.
You talking about E. Tomlinson, right?
What?
Because you said that I didn't pick Off the Wall, by the way. You know that, right?
No. You said you picked Off the Wall.
I was making sure.
Yeah. Say it clear.
Hold on. Go back to it. Go back to the FU.
He wanted me to, he knew what he was doing when he did this.
Listen,
but let me tell you, you know what? Fuck it. Let's tomorrow. I got 12 o'clock. I got at noon to 1 o'clock. I got some shit to get off my chest. I'm gonna put all this. I'm gonna put this to rest. Tomorrow will be Mike Jackson versus Prince tomorrow. Ooh. And maybe not the verses, but I'm gonna pair up some songs that go together. And in the chat, I want y'all to tell me who won that round. We're gonna do it right. It may not be album for album. I'm not gonna play Off the Wall shit versus For You shit. No, I'm gonna pin songs together that make sense. And in the chat, I want y'all to tell me. And I'm gonna do it so it's hard for you to choose. Oh, this Be Easy. What's good, bro?
Appreciate everybody in the chat chiming in, but like I said, this is what it's about. We gotta have these discussions, and it's not to pin the two artists who are no longer here with us. They make great music, but you can't deny that we had two artists that were at different stages of their career. Right? Yeah. That's what happens when you drop 40 on somebody, and then they got to come and drug test you. Whatever.
You know what? Real quick, shout out to E. Thomas for the triple dub yesterday. This guy put up Kobe numbers on the Larry June hookup yesterday.
Yo,
I assisted everybody with the dub yesterday.
Oh, he was like my man from Kansas State tonight.
Oh yeah, Howell. Yeah.
Yo, my man is my height, bro. Like Howell is my height.
You know what? This is for that damn. Is it just
damn?
You made it when you get one of those on your segment.
All right, CB. We haven't done a soul swap in a while, and from what I saw on sneaker news, it's a few things we got to talk about.
Yeah. So there is so much stuff we got to talk about, so we're gonna run over a few things real quick, and I'm just gonna set it up. Our other podcast, Soul Tales, is gonna be next week.
Yeah. Soul Tales next week. We'll finish.
We are going to be going into both of these segments a little bit deeper, but we're going to give you the preface here. That's what we do. Soul Swap is our segment here on We Are Something Else, where we just give you some news that's going on in the sneaker community, stuff that we think that all of our homies that listen to our show, watch our show, should be in the loop about. So Foot Locker announced this week that they're going through some major changes, basically to just be more fruitful in the future. They're about to be in existence they're about to celebrate their 50th year in existence. But one of the things that is coming along with that is they're going to be shutting down around 400 stores, mostly in malls. And they're going to be really trying to focus on the standalone stores and kind of repurposing them, rebranding them. They're going to turn Champs into different stores that are going to basically cater to athletes and things like that. They're trying to open up, some more specialized shops is kind of what it sounds like. But we grew up in the age of going to the shopping mall, going to the Foot Locker in the mall and things like that. And that's basically dying. We know that that's kind of the case nowadays. But how did y'all feel when you heard the news about Foot Locker shutting down a bunch of their stores and everything?
All right, we'll make this a speed round since we have a speed round. So, like I said, we'll finish this next week. There won't be a We Are Something Else next week. There'll be We Are Something Else presents Soul Tales next week. That's the sneaker panel. It'll be
Yep.
Beezy, E. Thomason, or our Money Bags, as you know, one is Amp Radio, me, CB, and E. Rich. But real quick, the fact that they're doing all these changes and trying to change the layout and look means they're in you and Molly, you in danger, girl. Like sales are probably down, and we know why sales are down is because they don't even carry the exclusive releases on Saturdays when the sneakers releases anyway. So that probably hurt their stock, and now they're doing all this revamping to try to be nice and cool, and it probably won't work. The fact that they're closing 400 stores is telling. Go ahead, E.
I think they released the amount of stores in total and what it looked like if when the 400 go away. I think they just, I call it what it is. I'm gonna call this from the business side of the house. These are probably the 400 stores that are not generating any profit whatsoever, and therefore
we do too, Nisa.
Yeah, Nisa, you're in the right segment.
For sure. But it's probably the 400 stores that have the least profit margin, and therefore they're probably hurting us to keep them up and running. So therefore, we get rid of them, we can at least keep some sort of overhead on the ones that are actually doing something. So get rid of these 400, stop losing profit, knowing that we're still going to have to go through, the internet anyway to get most of our money anyway. So It is what it is.
All right, CB, what's the next one? Set up the next one.
All right, so this was big news. We're talking about Sabrina. I always
go ahead, E. What is it?
Sorry, hold on. Am I there?
Yeah, you're there.
Yeah, my bad. Sabrina got her. She got her own. She's getting her own signature model from Nike. It's a big deal. They're doing a full-on like unisex release with her stuff, which is that's big news. Like Nike has had some pretty big moves in like the women's landscape over the last couple of years. We highlighted Jordan Brand and the stuff that they were doing with the ladies. And this is big. Sabrina is one of the biggest stars in the game. And honestly, like the shoe looks pretty good. The merch that they're coming out with looks good. So how did y'all feel when you guys heard the news about Sabrina getting her own signature model? To follow up, our girl Elena Deladon got, she's had hers. And Sabrina's kind of like
that. Her new model shoes are dope.
Yeah.
Shout out to Elena Deladon.
So
real quick, I'm gonna say it. She's a dope player. I don't know if she's won a championship yet. Was she on that? Did they win yet? But
I don't think so. But they got a super team.
Right. Her skill set is amazing. I think it's a good look for her because she's one of the stars in the NBA. Let's also be honest. She was very close to Kobe.
Yep.
Shoe mimics a Kobe.
Yep.
Somewhat. But no, I mean, she got it because she deserved it. But I think being next to Kobe is probably as a protege or product of the Mamba school doesn't hurt her chances. Go ahead, E.
Work ethic, her way that she plays the game. So outside of her relationship with Kobe, Vanessa, like all of them, like she shows it actually on the court. I'm just glad that Nike gave her the shoe now and not later on in her career. Yep. Also, fair to say that I actually like this silhouette better than Ja Morant's first signature shoe.
100% agree.
These aren't guns, but they are finger guns.
Oh shit! 100%. All right, CB, let's hit that copper drop.
It's messed up because I second E Rich's his sentiments there. But for y'all that don't know, this Sunday, March 26th, is Air Max Day. What is the big release that Nike is doing? They are bringing back from 1986 the original version of the Air Max 1 with the big bubble. So in those two images that you're seeing, the top image is the big bubble. The bottom image is what they refer to as like the Air Max 1, the 87. That's what most people refer to as the OG. You can tell the bubble is smaller. But the initial Air Max 1 that they did is that top version with the big bubble. It's in the university red. If it's the 2017 version, it's the anniversary red. Either way, as far as I'm concerned, this is the most iconic silhouette that the Air Max 1 comes in. We're talking as far as the OG colorways go. Like I said, they drop on Sunday. They're actually $150, which is cheaper than what a normal Air Max 1 costs, which is $160, and less than what the premiums cost, the ones that usually have the leather, which are $180. Y'all already know this is a must cop. I'm entering into everything. If I end up with multiple pairs, that's perfect. Yeah, these are a must cop all day, every day. These are on the must cop list. You guys already saw earlier this year, I bagged the 2017 OG re-release because I had to. And these are a must have. So how do y'all feel? I know how E-Rich feels.
A must have past to the point of resale.
If I do not get them for retail, I will be shelling out the resale. I don't expect these to be ridiculous, but these are going to be in the collection for sure.
For sure, have to be in the collection. Already entered in the Kith drawing. Will definitely be on Sneaker app and whatever other app that I need to get on. And like you said, if I have multiple pairs of these, I'm not blinking twice. So what? This has to be in the collection. Like I said, if you've been listening to the show, if you haven't been living underneath the rock, you know how me and CB feel about fucking Air Max 1. So shout out to Air Max 1s. Cut the check. We need that.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there thinking about my set tomorrow. I might end up playing a 19-minute version of Purple Rain tomorrow because E has got me in my feelings that much. I'm sitting there just pairing up songs. But we're here for the copper drop. Yeah, he's a cop. I get picked on as probably not being a huge Air Max fan like these guys are, or Air Max 1 fan like these guys. But I am. I like Air Maxes. I mean, I have a few in the collection. But, yeah, so these are a cop. I'll take these. These are a cop. All right.
Hold on. You got to play the last comment.
Yeah. You better make sure Miles gets a pair, bro.
Look, she got the
They're doing full size run. They got
those on her own.
The
She
men's
didn't even
release.
need me.
They got the women's release. They got the kids release. You better believe if they were doing toddler and infant releases, those would be getting copped too.
So for those who are still in the chat, who are new, like Anissa, this is where we do shoe and tell. Like, we're all sneakerheads. We bring a shoe that's part of the collection, whether it's old or new. We bring it to the show it off. Hence the shoe and tell. So, Mr. E-Rich, we'll let you go.
We just gonna get right into it. The graffiti. The graffiti Air Max ones, like I told you, it's all about the good juju. I brought these back out. I haven't worn these since last year sometime. Like, it's been a long time. I literally had to dig these out. As you can see, they're still fresh as hell. Like, I really have not worn them. So yeah, these are getting worn, and to bring good juju on 326, because listen, last year was actually a good year for the cop on the 326. I was lucky enough.
The blue ones last year, right? It was like
blueprints and the fault lines as well.
You got the wabi sabi joints,
the wabi sabis, yes.
Man, out of all the Air Max ones I copped last year, I didn't get any of the joints from Air Max Day. Like, damn. I'd literally, like, y'all saw, I probably copped, I don't know, 10 different Air Max ones last year. This.
Oh, Clay, you might have to go.
Ooh.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure out if it was me frozen or him frozen. There you go. He's back. There we go.
Oh.
Okay.
It's because the box is beat up. They're giving my connection some beat.
No, it's all this heat. This heat is just burning through the.
Y'all know what it is.
Ooh.
Come on, man.
Damn.
Man.
There it is.
The reimagined threes.
Yes, sir.
I was gonna show Remy's instead. my 10-month-old nephew, me and him got matching pairs, but he got his way earlier because I could buy his straight off of Foot Locker. Shout out to Foot Locker. I bought his straight off of Foot Locker, and I lost every raffle and every entry that I had for these, so I had to go to the resale market. It is what it is.
All right. Okay. So shout out to the plug, but I'm about collabs, so let's just take it back to the childhood for this one. Let's take it back to the
Mighty
childhood.
Ducks.
We got a Mighty Ducks locker here. Disney, Adidas.
And for people that aren't sure, when any colors blend into Kaleo's background, it means
it's
green.
green or blue. So so this is a nice green that you can't see, but so we got some Ultra Boost Mighty Duck colorways with the burgundy and the green. So now I got to get me a jersey. But you talk about a shoe that is like freaking comfortable. Air Max Air Max Ultra Boost. It's got it's that memory foam that's just ridiculous. And then it's got Disney on the inside. But yeah, shout out to the plug for helping me out. Super comfortable shoe, Ultra Boost. If you don't have Ultra Boost, make sure you get yourself a pair. I'm gonna get the jersey so I can rock the jersey. Let's Jordan. There we go.
For
E. Tomlinson, he's a fan of Jordan 3s. Look, we are at the point of our show where we have nothing else left to talk about. Oh, well, we gotta wrap it up. But look, we appreciate everybody for watching, for commenting. Let's go like and subscribe to that. To our stuff. Oh yeah, look, this is demo merch. We're working on. If we want to, put this out there, you guys like that in the chat? Let us know. Size is coming soon. Shout out to Shannon, our dope artist, for drawing up some colorways, some heat for us. Oh, nice. Yep. Appreciate you. Oh, you know what? We're not gonna plug Foot Locker hard, but let me tell you, those 3s that CB have, trust me. Let me get what you need to get yourself, if you wear leather shoes like CB or anybody, get yourself some Crease Beast, because one thing a sneakerhead hates is to have a crease in his leather shoe. So what you do with Crease Beast is, look, it's like memory foam. It's like some kind of a foam pattern that you insert in the little sock that comes on. You put it right there. You put it over top of your sock. You put it in the shoe. Your shoes will not crease. And if you got like bunions or corns or whatever, like it rubs nice and gently against the foam. I'm trying to sell these Crease Beasts because they're gonna cut us a check one day.
Cut the check.
Crease Beast. That was kind of aggressive.
Y'all didn't even know. I wore my Crease Beast Slims today to the office, Kaleo. You wouldn't even know.
I meant to ask you, do you have them nicknamed? ES. If it took me forever to figure out what ES was, that's E Money. That's the other Eric.
It's got to be E Money.
We appreciate you for watching. Shout out to E Money. Put them out. Ren, we appreciate you for watching. Chuck Claggett, as always. Be easy, my brother.
Our boy.
Anissa, appreciate you. Just be easy again. You got the Crease Beast Slims, because that's the new technology.
You better believe. As soon as you told me that those joints exist, I went and I bought them.
It's a little thicker padding. Do you have them on you now?
Nah, they're downstairs.
So the Slim is just probably half of that.
It's like half that size,
and it fits in like dunks. Because
this right here is definitely more. It's lower profile, easier to fit into like the dunks and the ones. So yeah, like the Slim is probably my go-to for most of the shoes that I wear after copping those last week. So
yeah, just remember tomorrow at noon, you got the abstract. I'm gonna post the link on our IG. I'm gonna post it on my IG as well, Facebook, all that good stuff. Because we're gonna put this in an E. I hope you're up. I hope you wake up a little early, you chime in. Because I'm gonna be up all night curating this list of songs that go together to make it hard for you to figure out who's gonna win this. That's all. But God
damn it.
But look, we appreciate everybody. Like, subscribe, share. We're gonna get that check cut this year. But that's it, y'all. We have something else.
Peace.